and welcome back to the 112th episode of PandTha Talks.
Hello.
I check things ahead of time now. I'm getting a bit more in sync with things. You should hope so after over 110 episodes, like.
Yeah, over 2 years worth, but
Yeah, we don't
it's
talk about that.
yeah, it's us. We're not very smart.
No. Intelligence is something we desperately lack. But to be honest, we do have some. I'd say we have a pretty good week overall. We have one negative
So
article.
he claims.
Yeah, well, one negative article. So we're going to be discussing a fair bit this week. Well, it's actually not as much as you'd think when you narrow it down to what its base elements are. But it's basically we've got Devolver Digital and staff layoffs, which is extremely sad to hear about. Oblivion Remastered, topping charts. The actual charts on Steam got an update and PC Game Pass broke, and the ex-Blizzard boss calling out Oblivion Remastered. Finally, moving on from there, Oblivion Remastered success, what the Fallout 3 remaster could improve upon. Talk about a lot of Oblivion Remaster, eh?
Literally.
Then moving on to Blue Ocean Games, launching a $30 million fund to support indie game developers, which is amazing to hear. And finally, why tricky video games and just gaming in general could be good for your mental health.
Hell yeah.
Which is something we discuss quite a bit, to be honest.
We do.
But anyways, let's start off and we'll get the negative news out of the way first and foremost. Yeah. I mean, actually, there was something I was looking at just a little bit before. I was looking at Stalker 2. You know, that big update's planned for Q2 2025.
Which big update?
The one
13 of them.
doing Stalker 2, this one, with the roadmap. It's the big game update for Q2 2025 with mod SDK kit, A-Life, mutant loot, shader compilation skip, player stash window increase, widescreen aspect ratio, 2 new weapons, further stabilization optimization, and anomalies fixing. Also, Stalker Original Trilogy Next Gen update. I'm very happy about the last. But the reason I bring that up is because I did a little bit of searching. So Q2 dates. Turns out you can just get this pulled up, but Q2 is between April 1st and June 30th. So we have only got like a couple weeks, really. Well, about a month to really have to worry about it. 3 months. So within the next 3 months, we'll get the next major Stalker 2 update, which I've got a feeling is going to absolutely feel like the game's changed again. But I'm fine with that. So, Devolver Digital cuts 40% of its staff at a subsidiary studio, Nerial. A publisher says it has right-sized 3 of its smaller subsidiaries and given them a tighter focus. Why would you ever put it as right-sized? You've downsized, that's what you've done. Publisher Devolver Digital has reduced its workforce at subsidiary studio Nerial by 40%. These cuts come on top of halving...
40%?
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Oh, 100%. And as it says here, these cuts come on top of halving the teams at its Polish studio, Artificer, and Good Shepherd /Big Fan by 50% plus over the course of 2024. They are drastically dropping people.
Yeah, that's not great, man.
No, not in the slightest. Whilst reporting a strong fiscal performance and a return to profit and growth at its most recent investor presentation, Devolver said it had refocused and right-sized 3 of its smaller subsidiaries and given them a tighter focus, reducing affected team sizes by approximately 50%. So, right, you've had a strong fiscal performance and you're returning to profit and growth. Is that because you've dropped so many people, or is it because you're suddenly selling more? Or were you already doing pretty well beforehand and you just decided, let's save a couple quid? Which is it? Because that just sounds rough. After assessing the appropriate size of its global footprint across various geographies, it has now reduced its overall headcount from 303 employees to around 270 today. Nerial has undergone a team restructure to address issues around recent releases, and to better shape the team for future releases. This restructure has resulted in a 40% reduction in headcount, the publisher wrote. Artificer Polish studio was downsized by over 50% in early 2024. A new greenlight process has refocused Artificer on projects better suited for current market conditions and gamer trends. Good Shepherd / Big Fan has also reduced its headcount by 50% plus over the course of 2024. In the first 3 months of 2025 alone, 1,600 developers have lost their jobs, with cuts and closures at FreeJam, Splash Damage, Piranha Games, Jar of Sparks, Ubisoft, Probably Monsters, Iron Galaxy, Sumo Group, Liquid Sword, NetEase Games, Toast Interactive, Night School Studio, Striking Distance, Until Dawn Remake developers, Ballistic Moon, and most recently, Eidos Montreal, Playside, and AppLoving.
That is an absurd number.
That's absolutely insane. In 3 months.
Yeah. And the releases have been fucking abysmal as it is over the last couple of years, and they're cutting more and more of these developers.
But that's what they seem to think is the right decision for some reason.
Shit, man. Bit fucking shit.
Oh, 100% it is. So, shall we move on to positive news?
I suppose we should.
Yeah.
That's awful.
It'll definitely progress us into a better mood. Oblivion Remastered tops 4 million players in just a few days.
Damn. I mean, that was never not going to be a hit.
Yeah. People adore the Elder Scrolls franchise, and people have just wanted more and more and more. Now, we didn't cover this last week because, to be honest, it was rumours at the time. So it was very much one of those things of, do we, don't we? You know what I mean? It's a bit up in the air. But I don't know what you've really seen about it, other than like some glitches and some VR mods part.
Well, I saw that, what was it? Who was it? Was it Brit or who else did I watch the stuff like that? Do you remember? I gotta find. Yeah, Spiffing Brit. Fucking getting himself negative stamina and stuff.
As he does.
That was funny, like. Broke out in the -1 willpower, just fell over.
Yeah, fair play. Oh dear. So what I'm going to show you is, because I actually watched this when I got home that day, because I was in office working that day.
But is this the comparison, or is this just their trailer that they released?
This is their trailer.
I did see a very quick comparison between like the cutscene of what you're seeing now and like the old one, and the difference is immense.
Oh yeah.
Put it briefly.
Well, I just sat and watched this live pretty much just after it had happened. And I got to this bit and my jaw fucking dropped. So you get to now witness what I saw live.
Oh yeah, they're comparing it themselves, yeah.
Yeah, to an extent.
Yeah, so I saw this. Yeah, this is what I saw.
But for all these years, I've never been the ruler of my own dreams.
It was this that got me.
I have seen the gates of oblivion beyond which no waking eye may see.
That's what kind of made my jaw drop. Just that moment. It was like,
I mean,
I was expecting a graphical upgrade, but not to that degree.
Yeah, that's how you do it, huh?
Oh, 100% it is. And then from there, they just kind of go, yeah, here's the Imperial City in the world, enjoy.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay. Thank you very much. I don't know what to say. I guess I'm jumping back into Oblivion. Lovely. It's only been, when was the last time I played Oblivion now? 2018.
7 years. In 4 days it will have been set, or no, sorry. In about a week's time it'll be 7 years.
Yeah. It's impressive. So, Oblivion Remastered has absolutely dominated the recent news cycle, and no surprise. To hear that the remade RPG has attracted a massive number of players. Now, I've got to point this out ahead of time. People are still debating whether this game is a remake or if it's a remaster. Bethesda are calling it a remaster, other people are calling it a remake. No one is quite sure what to call it. So if I swap between the two at any given point, I do apologise. It's because at some points I feel like it is a remake, other points I feel like it's a remaster. It's really all over the place. No one's quite sure. Remember, this thing was a shadow drop. Yeah, it was literally... We got a notification... Sorry. We got a notification from Bethesda the day before, I think it was, and then they just dropped it the day after. And that was insane. Yeah, there it is. So we got the i4 tomorrow, and people kind of thought, this is what we think it is. Then we got the official today, and then after that they just went, yeah, here you go. And that's as much detail as we had. It's like, so you give us 1 day heads up of all of a sudden, yeah, come back to Oblivion. We're dropping it today, on that day. It's going to be Game Pass day one.
I wonder how down bad many jobs were because like so many people called in sick to go play the Oblivion Remaster.
Oh yeah, loads of people were doing it. There were them people that were just like pressing their microwave button so it sounded like they were on heart monitors. That's not a joke. I saw that so many times on TikTok the other night.
Yeah.
You can see it's been played tons on Steam. It was put on at a reasonable price. Well, reasonable as we go nowadays. Still baffled about the deluxe edition, but hey ho, here we are.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I'd love to know about these guys because I've been playing it. My other half's been playing it. My other half system is nowhere near as good as mine, but it's still reasonable.
I mean, let's be honest. You could get, you know what PCs are like. You can get two systems that are complete identical setups. One can have an issue doing something, and the other one won't.
I absolutely adore that you've just said that because that is actually my argument when I'm at work. That's so many times over the years. Two identical systems, install the exact same applications to both of them. One will work, one won't. There's no reason.
That's the thing, though. That's actually a thing, and it's so fucking annoying.
Welcome to IT, everyone. So yeah, remember this was a shadow drop. A shadow drop that leaked all over the place for months, admittedly. So it never had the benefit of full marketing campaign leading up to its release on the 22nd of April. It's more than fair to say the title's sudden launch has worked extremely well. And it helps that its core Oblivion Remastered is still very much Oblivion in all its weird and wonderful glory. That is very true. It's still as insane and crazy as it once was. In that sense, it takes maximum advantage of people's nostalgia, while its numerous improvements provide plenty of reasons to revisit Cyrodiil almost 2 decades after its original release. I still can't get over the fact that it's almost 20 years old, the original. Creative behaviour.
I do think they've maybe overcharged.
Yeah, no, I am with you.
The 20-year-old game.
Yeah.
Yes, they have done a fantastic job, but being that they're Bethesda, they could have very easily charged a lot less. So I think they're maybe taking the piss a bit there, but at the end of the day, what can you do? At the very least, at least people are thoroughly enjoying it.
Yeah, I mean, at least it's on bloody Game Pass. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can jump on there for, like, bugger all and just, well, for your monthly subscription, and you can just pick it up and play it. That's what I've done. That's what a lot of people have done. And, yeah, good idea there. Of course, it should be noted that we're talking about 4 million players here. Not necessarily sales. Remastered dropped straight onto Game Pass after all. Why does that matter? At the end of the day, they still get paid for it. So, still, Oblivion Remastered has quite clearly struck a chord. Thank you, Rory. As mentioned, everyone seems to be loving the nostalgia, but are you part of that crowd? Pay the core a fine or serve your sentence in the comment sections below. Bugger you. Better than Indiana Jones, but considerably worse than Starfield. It's probably a solid number for a remaster.
Worse than Starfield?
I think they're talking about how many players.
I hope so.
I'm very hoping so. People, we're tired of remasters. We want new games. Also, people, take my money. Are they really all the same people? Surely not, but plenty are. What they really mean is, I don't want a remaster for X, Y, and Z game, so they shouldn't happen in the first place. Any game I do like is allowed to have a remaster, though. No, I'd argue that remasters should be saved for a set amount of time after. Looking at Oblivion as a good enough example for this, it took many
20 years later.
Yeah, it took many years for this to happen. I think any time after about, I'd say between like 7 and 10 years is more than fine.
Hang on, so for the likes of Elder Scrolls 6 and GTA, Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be, yeah?
Yeah.
Skyrim was the 5th one. So Elder Scrolls 6 and GTA 6, are we going to be waiting like a century for their remasters, given how long they're taking to develop?
Oh, it's highly possible. I mean, at the end of the day, GTA 6 should be dropping either the end of this year, the beginning of next year, so...
You're gonna play GTA 6, and if it ever releases, The Elder Scrolls 6, and then you're gonna have to go into cryostasis to play it to play their fucking remasters.
Oh yeah, here you go, by the way. These are the stats as of current. Not doing too shabby at all. I mean,
I was gonna say only 200k, but I suppose it's kind of everywhere, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
not just Steam.
Oh yeah, it's on PlayStation, Xbox, Steam. You know, it's getting a fair amount, so it's not doing bad. It's not doing too shabby at all. Oblivion Remastered got an update on PC Game Pass that broke upscaling just before the weekend.
Oof.
If you're playing Oblivion Remastered via the Microsoft Store, perhaps because you got it with the PC Game Pass subscription, then you have access to a patch that other players do not. But before Steam users get jealous, this is not a patch anyone would want. I've updated this, surprisingly. 2GB update seems to have been rolled out due to an issue with crossplay. If you loaded your PC save on the Xbox, it would bring over your resolution settings as well, making the souped up Cyrodiil look wonky on your TV. However, the hotfix has completely removed upscaling options like DLSS and frame generation from the options menu for anyone who downloaded Oblivion Remastered from the Windows Xbox Store. So what you're telling me is they just need to fix that, and it should take them about 30 seconds. Guaranteed it'll take them 3 months. And those
let's be honest.
Oh yeah. And those options are pretty important. While it's easy to get decent frame rate in the sewer tutorial, once you step into Oblivion's open world, you'll pay tax of maybe 30 frames per second just for the privilege of standing outdoors. Even with ray tracing turned off, frame generation goes from an optional extra to an essential one, even with a decent rig. I've got to say, once again, as we've been discussing the 1080 Ti and all it did, that would have fucking withstood this.
Well, I'm telling you, I'm going to keep making this argument. It's all this new fucking shit that they're making in terms of graphical advances. It just is shitting on cards, man. And the fact that the GTX cards don't have any of that shit in them is why they're able to run, because they're just obviously not running it.
Mm.
So sure, you're taking that small hit in terms of quality, but is that quality worth, like, what, 80+% of your fucking FPS, man?
Yeah, no, I get that. Bethesda's community manager responded to complaints saying the hotfix was for a few back-end tweaks and nothing directly impacting gameplay, but we've seen it's affected some Microsoft Store players' UI settings and graphical settings. Not to worry though, as any graphical settings adjusted prior to Microsoft Store hotfix are still enabled and function normally. That's why I didn't notice any issue. Only users are reporting that's not the case. Follow the replies to the comment and you'll see plenty of players reporting that DLSS and FSR have been turned off and frame generation too. Some of them are also reporting their settings dropped from ultra to high without warning. The team is taking a look and working out a resolution, Bethesda's community manager concludes, but we will share more info as we can. Expect a hotfix for this hotfix early in the next week. But if you set aside this weekend to barrel through the Thieves Guild questline via Game Pass, you have my sympathies. Here we are. You can enable frame gen and DLSS with this command in console. Be warned, it will disable your achievements. So it took, what? When did this release? 7 hours
I mean,
ago.
a day after the game was released, there were already mods being made.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it doesn't take the community long to fix shit.
No, sir.
Right, time to call someone out, Will.
Oh no.
The ex-Blizzard boss responds to the Oblivion remake. So, Oblivion Remastered could never hold up against modern masterpieces like Elden Ring, according to ex-Blizzard boss. I would love to be proven wrong, but I'm not. So this is some good fun.
You already know how I feel about Elden Ring.
Oh, 100%. It only took a few hours for Oblivion Remastered to sail past 120,000 concurrent players on Steam and even hit an all-time peak of 182,288 earlier today. This is a couple of days early, but you've seen the most recent. But despite all the hype and excitement surrounding the remaster, ex-Blizzard boss Mike Ybarra doesn't seem to think it's a winner. I'm skeptical about 20-year-old remasters, Mike Ybarra, former Blizzard president, says on social media. What was once fantastic, now remastered, will never hold up against modern masterpieces like Elden Ring. The bar has simply moved from safe, open-world RPGs to what Elden Ring brought us all. I would love to be proven wrong, but I'm not. Do you want to, fire the first shot here, Will?
I can't really say anything because I'm biased towards fucking the Elder Scrolls. I don't like Elden Rings. I think you might have a better input than I'm gonna have.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, to be honest with you, what I'm going to say is pretty straightforward. Just because things have changed since then does not mean that a story-driven adventure like Oblivion, which, to be honest, is what it did massively better than, and I will stand by this till the end of time, no one really plays Skyrim for its story. You want to see...
I can get behind you there.
Yeah.
Everyone knows Skyrim's story and the deal with Alduin and pretty much could give you a step-by-step the entire story and what happens. You played it, the first time you played it, you did it, and then I don't think anyone ever went and killed Alduin again.
No, exactly.
Unless he was Thomas.
Yeah. I'll be honest, the only character I felt bad for, really, in Skyrim was Parthenax. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was it. Now, as I said, Oblivion is a very different cycle, because the reason people like that game, it's quite a bit story-focused. Its story holds up well, and you feel that from the mechanics to the actual story-based elements to it. Everything about it feels like it's pushed towards that style. And that's for a good reason. Yes, maybe some of the mechanics could be a lot better nowadays, but if you go back and play that, guaranteed you are not playing it just because, oh, it's not like this. It's not like that. No, it's not how this shit works. So, it's a bit weird. I don't mean Souls-like, I mean the discovery, the classes, the combat system, etc. Ybarra clarifies, just a new level of quality. Right. The combat system of Dark Souls, that is extremely different. Not everyone likes it. I will admit, I am not a very big fan of it myself, and I've played through the entirety of Dark Souls 3 recently, and started Elden Ring. Trust me.
I will never, ever touch a single Dark Souls-like game with a 10-foot barge pole.
I do not blame you. The combat system is just, it's rough. It is so rough, especially for people that play games for fun. This is a very difficult one to get to grips with sometimes. I'm starting to get into it, but that's because I'm playing with people. Well, with a person.
Yeah.
If I was playing that solo, I guarantee you I would not be still playing. I wouldn't be able to do it. Just straight up. That is a promise. But I don't feel like that's a fair example. The classes. So, the classes in Oblivion in comparison to the classes of Elden Ring. Classes of Elden Ring, you're either magic or you're not. You have different weapons that you take up, and pretty much from there you are able to do... You've got different stats what you start with. That's classes in Elden Ring summed up. The discovery. There is tons, and I mean absolute fuck tons to discover in an Elder Scrolls game, whether it's new or old. I mean, Morrowind and Oblivion are still paraded around for that reason. Yes, Elden Ring does that well, doesn't mean Oblivion doesn't. You can claim it's a new level of quality, but I do believe that he is missing quite important criteria there.
I mean, to begin with, he's comparing two games that are very, very different from each other.
Oh yeah, massively different.
It doesn't really make sense to compare games like that. That's like saying Call of Duty has 1 billion times more action than FIFA.
Yeah.
To give example that everyone could relate and could understand because they're two very well-known games.
Yeah, sorry guys. FIFA's absolute dog shit, and the reason is it's
Oh,
got
no,
no
it is.
storyline. Its first-person
Yeah.
shooter mechanics are
There's
just non-existent.
No onions in it.
Yeah, like FIFA's shit, yeah, but that's for a different reason entirely. But yeah, like
It just doesn't
comparing
make
it-
sense. Like the only thing you could compare is the fact that they both have melee combat systems. I feel like
Melee,
there's
long
not much
range,
else.
and magic. That's about it.
Yeah, yeah. Like, I feel like the combat system, well, not the system, but like the ways you can combat are like the closest things you could compare. Other than that, everything else is like very different.
Yeah. I mean, let's be honest, he's probably talking as well about like point allocation, shit like that, but it's done drastically different in both games. Elden Ring and Dark Souls, those type of games, the way that you level up, you collect so many souls or runes in Elden Ring, and you spend them to level up. You basically spend set amount of them to get 1 point to put in one of your skills, which is fine. I've got no idea, I'm getting messages.
I heard it, and like because it was
It's a
so
weird
thin.
sound.
I was like, wait, what? What's going on? It almost as if my audio was on my speakers and I heard it through my headphones. So I was so confused.
It is an unusual one when you suddenly hear the Steam message go off. But yeah, it's very weird to compare them. It's a pretty scathing read that really doesn't hold up. Yes, Elden Ring was incredible, but it didn't have a lasting effect on how RPGs are approached, much like how Breath of the Wild didn't change how developers fill open world environments. Assassin's Creed Shadows has a huge but shallow open world, and it performed pretty well, achieving the second highest day one sales revenue for an Assassin's Creed game. It's kind of funny that they mention Assassin's Creed Shadows, I've got to admit. But
I mean, as time has passed with that game, it's gotten worse and worse.
Oh yeah.
Especially when we talk about the things that people have been finding out.
Yeah, the main story and shit like that. All good fun.
Hey guys, don't worry. There's just a planned $40 price tag to finish the storyline.
Yeah. But Ybarra doesn't take issues with whether Oblivion Remastered can hold its own with modern RPGs. I think we've had so many remasters that nostalgia is limited, Ybarra says. I could be wrong, but I think the gaming community wants fresh and new more than ever. Okay, may I just remind you, you work for, what was it again, Blizzard? Yeah, Blizzard, who own Activision, who have been remaking the Call of Duty games and just slightly modifying them for the last however long. Like,
I mean, like we're missing the main point of this remaster. Let's be honest. All that Bethesda have done is change how the graphics look. They leave the rest of them on.
somewhat.
I know that's not obviously like fully true, but let's be honest, for the most part.
Well, the other part to it is, it wasn't even Bethesda that did this.
No, it wasn't.
No, it was Virtuous.
I mean, who the fuck are they?
They're a subsidiary of Bethesda. Though they're a company that work closely with Bethesda.
So Bethesda turned around and said, "We can't be fucked doing it, so now you're doing it."
They pretty much went, we don't really have the full amount of staff to work on this because they're busy working on the Elder Scrolls 6. So we'll give you a couple of people and you work
quote
on...
unquote.
Yeah, so you work on the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remaster. Cool. Oblivion Remastered offers a massive visual update with new real-time lighting, character models, ambient details like insects and fish, and redesigned menus and interfaces. While that alone may not be too exciting, Virtuos does seem to modernize certain old features, such as the leveling system, which is now inspired by Skyrim's. The third-person camera has been updated with a reticle and functionality, and you can now sprint. But sometimes it's important to know when to exercise restraint and not change old features. While lockpicking and persuasion have new visuals, both have retained their original weirdness and difficulty. And the NPC dialogue may have a couple of new recordings, but the old awkward conversation timing will be left in place. I'll always be the first in line to call out lazy remasters or even remakes, but you can't accuse Oblivion Remastered of being out of touch when it's the fourth on SteamDB's concurrent player count in the last 24 hours, and has shot to the top of Steam's best sellers list Never underestimate a millennial gamer's love for horse armor. Love that they mentioned horse armor after everything that happened there. So, yeah, Oblivion Remastered is standing on its own 2 feet relatively well, and there's very little negative that you can say about that. And honestly,
what did it say? We're over 4 million players?
4 million, yeah. 4 million players is crazy for a remaster.
Yeah, for a 20-year-old game.
Oh, 100%. So, Oblivion Remaster and Fallout 3. After the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion's remastered success, ex-Bethesda devs expect a Fallout 3 remaster would significantly improve the not good gun combat. That is the worst title I've ever read. I hate that so much. With the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered going down well with fans, thoughts are now turning to which Bethesda game is set for the remaster treatment next. And with many speculating Fallout 3 is coming, it was leaked back in 2023, how might Bethesda improve upon the 2008 post-apocalyptic role-playing game? Add aim down sights so that I don't have to mod it in every time I play the bloody game. Pretty simplistic. I still get annoyed by that.
Rory not happy.
Yeah, that always upsets me, I'll be honest. Bruce Nesmith, one of Fallout 3's designers, has pointed to the game's not good gun combat. Okay. Which he expects Bethesda would improve significantly for a remaster. Speaking to Video Gamer, Nesmith said Fallout 3 remaster would have shooting more in line with that of Fallout 4. What did you see in Fallout 4? That will tell you that they felt what they felt was necessary to change from Fallout 3. I know in Fallout 4 there was a lot of work done on the gun combat, because Fallout 3 is the first time they ever tried to do a shooter style of game. And well, I think the work that was done was amazing. I mean, that just stands by itself at the end of the day. It worked a lot better, and it's true. To be honest, it's one of the few things I enjoyed about Fallout 4. The story was definitely not something I enjoyed. Yeah. Or should I add, or lack thereof?
I mean, I think it's became a trend that, like, as time went on, Bethesda games became more fun for just playing them rather than following them.
Yeah, I'd argue that's right. Oblivion Remastered, developed by remake specialists Virtuos using Unreal Engine 5, has a long list of visual and feature improvements. It runs at 4K and at 60 frames per second, as you'd expect, but other changes are more meaningful. Everything from the leveling system to character design and combat animations to in-game menus have been improved. Meanwhile, there's a lot of new dialogue, a proper third-person view, and new lip-sync technology. The changes are going down well with fans, some of whom believe Oblivion Remastered would be more accurately described as a remake. Bethesda, however, has explained why it went down the remaster route. As I said,
you're saying about the fact that it can run 4K 60 FPS.
Yeah,
I believe it's true, right, that the Skyrim and Fallout games start to slightly break if you raise the maximum frame rate, right?
Yeah, that is true.
That has always confused me why that's a thing. What?
Let's just say the modders fixed that issue a long time ago, thankfully. And,
no, I know that, but it still just confuses me. What did they do? How did they manage that?
So, how much do you know about the Bethesda game engine?
Other than it's just beyond broken.
Yeah, do you know why it's
Not
beyond
much. No.
So basically, imagine back when they created Oblivion and Fallout 3. What they decided to do, in their infinite wisdom, was create a game engine that worked specifically...
Yes. Bethesda and wisdom, of course.
Yeah. Well, they basically decided to create it to work specifically for Oblivion to start with, I believe it was. It was either Oblivion or Fallout 3. Whichever one came first, anyways. They created it specifically for that game. I think it was Oblivion. Then... No, it was Morrowind, then it was Oblivion, then it was Fallout. Which was weird, because basically they realised we can reuse a lot that we've got for Morrowind for Oblivion, we just have to upgrade and change some bits. When it came to Fallout, they were like, yeah, well, we've already got an engine, so how about what we do now is we just update it and patch it to work for Fallout. Yeah, sure, why not? Easy to do. So basically, over the years, what happened was they kept patching this engine to work for what they needed without fixing the issues at its base layer. So the issues just kept building and building and building, and you still got issues from like Morrowind and Oblivion to build upon when you got to Skyrim. So you've got these really old issues that are just building up to the surface until the engine couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
So yeah, it's
So
a lot of fun.
basically just tried to use this exact same stuff that they made for a previous game to make a new game again.
Pretty much. That was
Smart
the overall issue, from what I understood it as. And Nesmith said Fallout 3's remaster would probably have to include improvements and changes along similar lines to Oblivion Remastered. Fallout 3's combat didn't hold up to shooters at the time. Also, it's an RPG shooter. It's not a run and gun shooter. But a lot of work was done on that for Fallout 4. So I anticipate seeing a lot of work go into it, assuming they're doing the same thing. Oblivion wasn't just brought up to the 2011 version of Skyrim, he added. It was brought up to something that, at least on the surface, looks like it exceeds the most recent graphics update in Skyrim. Nesmith has said The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered is so impressive it could be called Oblivion 2.0. It's a busy time for Bethesda, which is working on The Elder Scrolls 6 and maybe more Starfield, throw in remasters and ongoing work on Fallout 76 and the Fallout TV show, which is heading to New Vegas for Season 2, and fans are in for a treat in the coming years. I'm very excited for a lot of that. We've got a comprehensive... Yeah, I don't care.
I wish I could say I'm excited for the Fallout series if it wasn't the fact that Amazon are making you pay even more to watch it.
You're kidding.
Oh yeah, did you not see? So if you have Amazon Prime, you used to be able to watch. You used to get Prime Video.
Yeah.
It's now a separate. It's now a separate thing you have to pay on top of your Amazon Prime.
That's bullshit.
Otherwise, you have to watch it with ads. So I just said fuck no and cancelled it.
Oh, I know what you mean. Yeah, I ended up paying the like $3.99 a month just to get ad free.
No, I just won't watch anything. I won't watch anything on it.
I don't blame you. Blue Ocean Games launches $30 million fund to support indie game developers. Now, we've seen a couple of these over the last couple of years. We've actually spoken about it a few times, where these little funds to support indie game development has started to become more and more prevalent. And honestly, it's a good thing to see, because, let's be honest, we are seeing more and more layoffs from people, consistently, and these game developers need somewhere to go.
Yeah, we have seen so many layoffs that there are actually developers taking it into their own hands to leave the company and make their own indie company. Old Glory Studios being a prime example.
100%. Don't get me wrong, those two are still working in the business. Lewis is still, I think, contracting, and I believe Matt's still with another game studio. But it's amazing to see. It really is.
I mean, that's how indie companies work, though. You don't have funding because you're not with a massive name. So you have to source funds.
Exactly that. I mean, I retweeted something they posted the other day about their funding, because they managed to get a bit more funding since last time, which is amazing to see. And they're doing really well.
I mean, the more funding they get, then the more they can work on the game.
Exactly that. Early stage venture Blue Ocean Games has launched a $30 million fund to support indie game developers. The fund uses an investment model called Sale Structured Agreement for Indie Launch, which supports developers from the concept stage by providing up to $100,000 per developer or $300,000 per team, dispersed over 2 years. Blue Ocean Games said that its funding is tied to objective market validation milestones rather than relying on subjective progress checkpoints. Aside from financial backing, the fund offers practical support, such as help with incorporation, bookkeeping services, and mentorships from industry veterans. Developers will work in cohorts to foster collaboration and knowledge sharing. While the current fund is tailored for solo developers and small teams, future funds aim to extend support to larger and more experienced studios. I think that's a great idea. That'll definitely bring a lot more development into the industry. Bloody hell, do we need that nowadays? Because it's like the industry just gives up at times, honestly. That's at least how it feels. Problems. Founded by Former Craft and investment head Damien Lee, Blue Ocean Games is an early-stage venture fund based in Toronto, supporting indie game developers by funding innovative, market-validated Blue Ocean concepts. The company has also launched Rising Tide, an ongoing series of online competitions aimed at helping developers validate their ideas, gain exposure, and move their projects forward regardless of funding goals. The first Challengers kicks off on May 1st, 2025, in partnership with Global Game Jam, alongside the opening of applications for direct funding. There is a structural problem in the indie game industry, where the gap between what investors are willing to fund, what developers dream of creating, and what players crave has grown too wide, said Damien Lee, founder and manager of Blue Ocean Games. Beyond simply filling a funding gap, we are trying to reimagine the ecosystem itself by aligning player demand with developer passion through community validation and reliable funding. Our goal is to create an environment where mutual benefits naturally drive success and growth. I like the sound of the last bit. I don't know about yourself there, Will, but the fact that they'd actually be paying attention to all three parts. The funding, what developers want to create, but also what players want.
I think from this, they're just starting to pay attention to indie companies as a whole. People have definitely realized over the last couple of years with how the industry has went, how these indie games are popping up left, right, and center and just dominating.
Oh, 100%.
They're starting to realize, it's not all about them.
Yeah.
As amazing of games as these massive companies have made in the past and still have the potential to make, it's not all about that one game.
No.
Because we all love playing hundreds of different games. And I'll be honest, most of the games that I play, not just nowadays, but sort of as a whole, are indie games.
Oh, yeah. I know, I see your library sometimes, and honestly, it's a week-to-week basis. Probably more indie stuff than anything else. Well, let's have a look. Recently played 7 Days Baldroid, Blood and Sorcery, Bloons. Yep. Human Fall Flat, No More Room in Hell 2, Raft, Rust, I guess, Schedule 1, Stranded Deep, Sunken Land, Tower Factory, Ultimate Chicken and Horse, and Unrailed. I think that's a pretty good example, to be honest.
I know. Gotta grind those achievements as well, dude.
Oh yeah, you've gone proper into grinding achievements lately, haven't you?
You know I'm always a fan of it. I just, had a bit of time there where I just wasn't really up for it.
Yeah. Stuck in hard mode. Why tricky video games could be good for your mental health. This will be interesting. Because we've been talking about how we believe video games are good for your mental health in general for a long while. So it'll be interesting to see what this has to say. A new study by researchers in Finland, well done Finland, suggests that difficult video games could have a positive impact on gamers' mental health. 3 academics from Aalto University analysed how gamers playing the video game Dark Souls, oh dear, interacted with each other and talked about their feelings.
I think anyone who plays Dark Souls has a lot of feelings they could share.
Yeah, for me it's primarily anger. Lots.
I think that's why they're all able to talk so easily between each other about it, because they're all feeling a lot of anger.
Yeah, are we sure that the word isn't screamed instead of talked about their feelings? They observed how the challenging nature of the game cultivated resilience and perseverance in gamers' real lives, whilst the dark themes and atmosphere encourage positive discussions about depression. I'll be honest, I suppose you could swap Dark Souls with quite a few games. At the end of the day, there's many games out there that do very similar, and not with the same combat style, which is...
I mean, if you're having a bad day, any game can anger you.
Oh, yeah.
You go on, you do something stupid, you die to something stupid, you throw away something you didn't mean to, and that's all it takes.
Yeah. The researchers...
Especially if you're, like, grinding something out that takes, like, you have to craft this, to craft that, to craft this, and that's only one of, like, 50 pieces you need to craft the thing you're trying to craft. And you accidentally bin something, and then you're like...
I resign. The researchers also concluded the supportive online communities built up around gamers like this led to positive interactions and impacts on players' mental health. Okay, yeah. It does make sense. It just fried my head a bit. Dark Souls is a critically acclaimed video game franchise made by Japanese developer From Software. We all know about it, and that's about as far as I'm willing to explain it. Speaking to ITV News, one of the report's authors, Jacko, and that's all I'm going to do, said he's surprised by how overtly players described connecting events in the game to their real lives. I mean, I think we all feel that in some shape or form, dependent on the game. There's many games out there that we can definitely connect feelings to, and we can talk about for
Pretty much every game.
hours. Yeah, to be honest, it depends on the game. Like, I'm not going to connect my real life to
each
Blue
game.
Tower Defense, but
Each game, like, you'll have a different feeling towards it. And it doesn't have to relate to anything in the real world.
oh no, yeah. I remember relating Bloons Tower Defense to that time, Harambe.
I could very easily give you an example for even Bloons Tower Defense. Playing Bloons Tower Defense 6, because it's the more recent one, always reminds me of 5. The one that I played far too much of. Would have been playing it when I was back in school 15 years ago.
Blimey. Yeah, fair play.
It doesn't have to be like, yeah, exactly. It doesn't
Yeah.
necessarily have to be something going on right now. It could remind you of a time when you played it previously, or something happened when you're playing it. And to be honest,
Yeah.
I could do that for any game, especially if it's a game that's like a lot older.
Oh, definitely.
You'll the moment you see that game, even if you have it in your library, you play it a couple times and you know you'll probably not play it again. Just scrolling down your library when you're looking for something to play, and you skim across that, and you immediately get brought back to when you first played it, and that's it. All you do is sit and think about that.
Yeah. I have Gmod being mine, I've got to admit, because I put way too many hours into that with people that I haven't spoken to in years at this point. So Minecraft. Very similar thing.
My favorite times, as much as I prefer PC over anything, no matter if there's even the argument you'll hear the most of racing games and how it's easier to control because of a joystick.
Yeah.
I will still prefer PC over anything, but one thing I have to give it to you is my days of playing on PSG, playing Minecraft with the group of friends I had at that time. That was one of the best times of my life, always playing that.
100%, mate. They would start applying what the game had taught them to tackle their personal challenges. Cooperation in the game inspired them to ask for help in the real world. Why did you get them to play Dark Souls? I mean, there's a mod that allows co-op.
I gotta say as well, like, of all things that this article is based on, why on earth is it Dark Souls? We need to know what they were talking/screaming about.
Yeah, I think we do. Our findings suggest that the extensively challenging yet rewarding nature of the gameplay, combined with its narrative context, could foster coping skills, empowerment, and a sense of self-efficiency that extended far beyond the gameplay. The reason I had to stop when it said that is because basically the person I'm playing the Elden Ring game with, and I played Dark Souls 3 with, they're obsessed with the From Software universe, to the point where they watch so much about it. It's insane. I asked them to explain to me what the hell's going on. Even he can't explain Dark Souls 3 to me.
Wonderful.
He can explain bits and bats, but not completely.
Rory, I appreciate what you're trying to do, but I don't need more reason to not play the game.
Yeah, like, I can't figure it out. Posting about the difficulty of these games, one user wrote, "You don't need to win each fight, but what matters is that you persist and keep going, despite getting defeated, always striving to improve. This mindset has been very helpful for me to dealing with my own problems and not getting overwhelmed by them."
You want an example of persistence? Watch me and Sam playing Rust when we're getting absolutely shit on. My God, we have problems.
You want an example of persistence? Watch me play Ready or Not. I guarantee you, I will get shot in the head by something that makes zero sense as I'm storming a hospital.
That sounds like Rust.
Yeah, honestly, I question that game more times than I really should, but I love it. It's great.
Not quite the same mindset when it comes to Rust, but you know.
Yeah, that's more.
It's that. Oh yeah, and then you finally get that one come up, and it's like, holy shit, that feeling.
Yeah.
A countless number of times where we've been just so down bad, losing every fight. You've got basically nothing left, and then you win that one fight. You make that one play. No matter how good you are at that game, it doesn't matter. you will always lose fights, and there's days where you just cannot win a fight, and when you finally do, you finally get something back to base, man. Jeez, it's like it's the biggest feeling of relief ever.
Can you tell who the addict is? He's a Rust addict.
I'll be honest, mate. I've just been enjoying playing the indie games again and chilling on VR. I'm looking for excuses to not play Rust, but unfortunately, it looks like I'm getting dragged into it on force. So I need someone to come
Bad times,
shank me or something, so I can't play.
Are you asking politely or are you making demands again?
A little bit of both, to be honest.
A little bit of both.
Trying a different approach.
Okay. Okay, I can appreciate that. Another
I
player.
did tear the head off a pineapple though, so if it
Ooh.
infuriates anyone to come shank me, then
Self-mutilation.
so be it.
I like it. Yeah, another player described how the challenging nature helped them deal with with everyday situations, writing that they played the game whenever they were feeling melancholic, or when I'm struggling with a difficult period in my life. They added, it gives me this feeling that if I'm able to beat this, I'm able to beat other things as well. And that's one way to take a look at it, I suppose.
It's a fancy way of saying you're sad.
I suppose, yeah. He added that finding such positivity in thematically dark games shouldn't necessarily be surprising. That's true. I don't think it's particularly unusual if you think of art and entertainment media more generally. For instance, what it is that draws people towards watching something emotionally challenging. After all, tragedy is an age-old genre of drama that is associated with the idea of catharsis. That is a purification of negative emotions, by the way of expressing or experiencing them.
I feel like it's necessary to point out we are talking about Dark Souls
Yes.
and expressing emotion. And then yes, we just have Animal Crossing, just the absolute opposite of everything we're talking about, and there's Animal Crossing.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think they're actually about to address that now. It's not the first time video games have been linked to mental health. During the pandemic, many multiplayer games became means of communication for players isolated from physical connection. That is very true. A lot of us spent a lot of time on multiplayer games during that period.
What do you mean during that period? I didn't stop. I was doing it before then, I'm doing it after, and I was doing it during.
Same, to be. Animal Crossing, a life simulation game released by Nintendo during the first COVID lockdown, provided a meeting place for friends and even saw cancelled graduation ceremonies, dates and birthday parties recreated in the cheerful game world. Right then. Oxford Academies found, as well as providing community and connection, there was a small correlation between mental well-being and the amount of time spent playing the game. Contrary to many fears that excessive playtime will lead to addiction and poor mental health, we found a small positive relation between gameplay and affecting well-being. Adding players...
This is just going back to when we have argued before.
Yep.
And we've talked about it in a couple different episodes, and there was one episode in particular where we covered it greatly.
Because we were quite angry with the article we were reading, if I remember right.
Yeah, but it's just going back to when people look so negatively towards gaming.
Oh yeah.
And they call it an addiction and say it's bad for your health and blah 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 and so on and so forth. And yet you just need to look at it in the sense of it's no different to another hobby that other people do.
Yeah.
The whole point of a hobby is it's something you enjoy doing. And when I think of something I enjoy doing, I want to do it as much as possible.
Yeah.
And that is what a lot of people do with their hobbies.
100%.
But for some reason, gaming has such a negative look in that sense. I do have to admit, when COVID happened, it definitely opened the eyes to a lot of people about it, especially those that actually turned to gaming. Even though they probably barely touch it, most of them probably didn't touch it at all because they prefer doing things outside for whatever reason.
How could they commit such a crime against nature? I am so sorry, by the way, if anyone heard that noise. I have no idea what that is. It
sounds like something connecting and reconnecting.
Yeah, now, I'm going to tell you the most amazing thing in the world, and if anyone has an answer for it, please feel free to let me know.
Is this another yellow monitor situation?
This is worse.
Oh no.
If I get up from my desk at any point, that sound will play. yet I
You
touch
have
no
wireless.
cables. I
You
have
have
a
wireless
wireless
stuff,
headset.
right?
Yeah, the wireless
Something's
headset
going on there.
is still connected the entire time, and even if the wireless headset is turned off and the wireless dongle is removed, it will still happen. There's no
Strange.
reason. I
Very
can't
strange.
think of anything. But yeah, whenever I stand up, that noise plays. So
No, we will never know.
yeah, players who objectively played more in the past 2 weeks also reported to experience higher well-being. Open world games like Nintendo's Legend of Zelda have also previously been linked to improved mental health, with researchers from Imperial College London suggesting that they could be used as therapeutic tools for stress and anxiety management, offering a cost-effective and accessible method to improve mental health. Why not? Speaking about the significance of research like this into video games and mental health, they added, the finding that open world games may enhance people's well-being through enhanced escapism and relaxation is not trivial, given the growing evidence that other forms of entertainment, such as traditional social media, contribute to adolescent anxiety and depression. See, we get our socializing and our video games together. So
Yep,
we're
that's the whole point of multiplayer games.
Exactly. Despite early positive signs, researchers believe more needs to be done to paint a fuller picture of how video games impact players' brains. Oxford researcher Dr. Tamas Folds told ITV News, many studies, including systematic reviews and randomized controlled trials, have shown that video games can positively affect conditions like anxiety, depression, PTSD, and ADHD. However, the field could greatly benefit from improvements. Dr. Folds added, greater attention should be given to involving young people and clinicians early in the game design process. Different types of games likely benefit different people, but we currently lack sufficient understanding of exactly how these differences manifest. I think that's very interesting overall. It's definitely interesting to see that there is a high chance that they do impact mental health more than what we already knew. Because let's be honest, we all know that it impacts us in different ways. We all feel it. We all feel happier when we're playing a game with friends and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's just kind of what they were saying there about how different games impact differently. That is literally just, you need to figure out what you like playing first before you can set, because it's not the game itself and like the style of game or whatever that'll make you enjoy it or be happy or make you feel better. It's whether or not you're actually enjoying playing that game.
Yeah.
And that's no different to doing things in the real world. You know, if you're doing something you don't enjoy doing, you're going to look sad. You're going to feel depressed. You know, why would you continue doing something you're not enjoying?
Yeah.
And then the same vice versa. If you're playing a game that you really enjoy, same outside in the real world. If you're doing something you really enjoy doing, you're going to be happy. You're going to be excited when you're thinking about doing it or when you have plans to do it later. You know?
Yeah.
It's not any specific game. It's just, hey, what kind of games do you like playing? Or what game do you enjoy playing? And then you go from there.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely do believe a lot of games, dependent on genre and what the type of game is, depends on what you can get from it in different aspects. So, for example, a story-based game is definitely going to be something that probably might teach something new, whereas a multiplayer game will help you with your cooperative skills, working with others, communication, stuff like that.
Yeah, co-op, working with each other. Totally not testing friendly fire. Cough, cough.
Yeah, to be honest, I just think that games need to go back to the co-op style of games and actually just letting us play games with each other. Like, come on, give us an open world co-op game again. That's all I want, man. That's all I want. Or just co-op
kind of
VR.
wonder, like, you do kind of wonder how more games don't have that option. The only like main thing to overcome is the networking and the syncing, and after that, all it is just a second player model that can interact with everything.
We say that, but Steam does half of that for us. That's not even joking. Steam uses its own like connection system, which is what a lot of games use for the servers. It's like, just use it. You've got the services. Use it. Anyways, that is everything we had for this week. It is a bit less than what we'd usually discuss, and there was definitely a major topic there. Good old Oblivion Remaster. Definitely pulling well. Got to admit for him. But yeah, I definitely do believe that there's been some amazing things going on this week. And it's good to see as well that as time has progressed over the last, nearly 3 years, I'd say, we are starting to see a lot more progress in the side of developers and things like these medical professionals actually looking into gaming to prove they're not as bad for people as they've been claiming for all these bloody years.
Just the view of gaming as a whole, like people finally sort of realizing it's not in their eyes what they would consider the devil, because I'm sure a lot of people would look at it that way.
100%. It's been something that was said a lot. I mean, there was the time back in America where Hillary Clinton was actually stating this. It was a major thing back then. There was so many people fighting very similarly for that sort of thing, and it's disgraceful, to be honest. Just because they disagree with it or don't like it, all of a sudden they believe they should be able to control everyone.
Yeah.
Governments
don't get us wrong either. Gaming is amazing, especially like in our opinion, our history with it, and our view upon it. It is absolutely brilliant, but that doesn't mean that there's bad sides to it either, as there is with everything. Stuff that we've talked about before, like, you know, your own security when you're online, and like obviously keeping your own details to yourself.
There's
stuff like that, and then there are people online who are just genuinely pieces of shit,
disgraceful, and deserve to no longer exist, but nothing that can be done about that.
But at the same time though, there's things in place, like you can just block people, mute people, stuff like that. You can report people if it gets to that level of insanity.
Yeah. At the end
but
of the day,
overall, for the most part, like as with anything that you can do to change your life, it's amazing.
Yeah.
If it's what you enjoy doing, it's what you like, and you find joy in it, then keep doing it.
100% you should. Honestly, it changed my life for the better. I'd say the same for you.
Oh yeah.
And for many people I know, it's given us a reason to keep talking.
I gotta be honest. It never changed my life. From as young as I can remember, it was my life.
According to my dad, he put the controller in my hand at 3, and sometimes he's regretted it. At other times, he's been proud of where I've got to.
Hey man.
So
to begin, 1, there could be worse things you'd be doing. 2.
Oh yeah.
Let's be honest, you're a fucking genius when it comes to any like technology. So I think you're all right, brother.
Oh yeah, that's why he's proud.
No, whoa! I wasn't talking about your dad here. I was talking about like viewing yourself. I don't want to know why he's proud.
But no, it's an amazing hobby, and honestly, I think there should be more acceptance for it, and it's definitely seen more and more nowadays, and I'm happy to see it. And the more people who get into it, hopefully we'll start seeing better games coming forward so that people can enjoy more. Push it up a bit. Games companies, get your fucking heads out your asses.
Literally. Just focus on the indie devs for a while.
Yeah, the indie devs seem to know what they're doing, so go to them.
Somehow.
Never understood it. But anyways, I think that's everything, unless Will's got anything he'd like to add.
No, I think we covered everything that I could have thought of.
Fantastic. Well, in that case then, thank you all very much for watching. If you have enjoyed, feel free to like, follow, subscribe, comment, and all that good stuff, and join the Discord, because I will get slapped if I forget.
You're damn right you will.
And we will see you all in the next episode. Thanks again for watching, and see you next time.
Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next week.